Greetings to you and welcome to Minikun Tutorials. I hope you are doing well. In today's tutorial, I will show you how to actually submit your tax residency um, certificate, okay, for Ireland, Google Ireland, or how to even update your tax residency information for Google Ireland. I'm talking of Ireland because we are all familiar with, or at least I don't want to say we are all familiar because you probably might have just been monetized and you have not yet even submitted your US tax information. However, what I wanted to say was that we are familiar with, for all YouTubers, we are familiar with US tax information, which doesn't actually expire, okay? Because I personally have already submitted my US tax information, a long time ago, and I've never been reminded to submit my US tax information again. However, for those of us based in Europe, I don't know for all European countries, but France, and let me just say Europe, I think in Europe, we actually pay through Google Ireland. Okay. So we get our payment from Google Ireland, not so we are not paid directly from the US. We are paid from what Google Ireland. Similar thing applies to people, for instance, depending that are paid by, let's say, um, Google Singapore. People based in maybe Singapore, they are paid by Google Singapore, and those based in Europe are often paid by Google Ireland. So for that reason, we are often requested to submit our tax information to Google Ireland. That is also referred to as Google Ireland tax information. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you how to do that quickly. But above all, you'll need to first of all make sure that you have your tax residency certificate. And to obtain your tax residency certificate will depend on your country of residence. you know. So one thing about the Google Island tax, or even Singapore, like I said, I'm not sure about Singapore because I don't live in Singapore. But I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that if you have been asked to submit, let's say, your Singapore tax information, it is a similar procedure. So that was just by the way. I just wanted to give a context before I start anything. So for France, for instance, you could download this online. In your country, the procedure for obtaining a tax residency certificate might be different. But in France, you could just either apply for it directly at the tax office or simply download it online, okay, on your tax info website. So, for instance, I could just click on, I could just download it quickly. Sorry, just click on, I'm sorry, this is in French, but that's not necessary. I'm just trying to show you that, like, you will have to go to your tax office, to find out how do you obtain a tax residency certificate. If you don't know how, I'm just trying to let you understand that it's not a document that you cannot find. So, for instance, in France, you can do it online if you have like an auto entrepreneur account. If not, then you could apply to the tax office here in France, the tax office of your place of residence, and then you should be able to get it. So I just chose Ireland and I'm good to go for the year 2024. Then I can just go ahead and do what and do justice to it. Click on validate, and boom, I have my tax residency certificate right here. And I can just go ahead and click on uh, I can go ahead and click on print. I just say request for printing, and then I can just download it by clicking on this button here, and I have my tax residency certificate. I just click on download and I can put it anywhere I want. I can put it in my downloads folder, for instance, and name it Ireland Tax Residency Certificate. So basically, this residency certificate is usually uh, uh, issued by your country to certify that you are a resident of your country. And when you submit it to Ireland, for instance, let's say to Google Ireland, for instance, it means that I'm going to benefit from what? Lower tax rates. Depending on the tax rate, the conventional tax rate between France, which is my current country of residence, and Ireland is the tax rate that is going to be applied to my YouTube earnings instead of the raw uh, tax rate, you know. So that is a benefit. And sometimes, if you fail to submit this document, they could actually put your AdSense could actually suspend your revenue. So I've just downloaded it, and it's my downloads folder. And just go ahead and click on. So you see what is written here is that the tax info that you provided for your tax residency country, which is France, is approaching the expiry date. The expiry date, if I'm not mistaken, is actually for me, it's actually the 17th of June 2024. So I have to. So they are warning me to update, else they are most likely going to suspend my next payment. That is a payment um, for the month of maybe June. So I have to act quick. All right. So all I have to do at this point is to just make sure that I click on if you should also, let's assume I pick France euro, this first option, then this is the error message that I will get. There are issues with your payment account, but it's the same thing. If I should choose YouTube France, then I get what the exact error, about my AdSense account for YouTube, which is that the tax information that I submitted has is approaching the expiry date. So I just click on what update tax info here. Okay. And I just click again on update info. And then they will ask me to start a new form. So I just click on start a new form. Again, start a new form. Now, select tax residency country, which is France. What document is this? Uh, Let me see. I can actually delete this. This was my employee residence permit, which is not what I want to submit. So I can just delete this. Then I'll click on the drop down menu. Well, this is what has expired. And that was even the right document. But this one, the expiry date is approaching. So I can just remove it and put the right document. So I can just put what I submitted the other time was my employee residence, sorry, my current residence permit here in France. And that is what is now approaching. And that was even other document, right? So I will have to even go back to my tax residency certificate to see whether I need to update it. But because I had submitted that one too. But this one is expiring, so I just remove it. And I'll just select here tax residency certificate. And then I have to upload it. Because for this attestation, there's no fixed expiry date. So I'll just assume that maybe 10 years, if I'm one, so that I will not have to be changing it every year. But if they ask me to put just next year, then no problem, I could do that. So I'll click on upload here, and I'll go to my downloads folder, and then I'll pick the document, tax residency certificate, Ireland tax residency certificate. All right. I think Ireland without E, right? I'm not sure. I think without E. So Ireland tax residency certificate. In French, they add E. So I just click on open, right? And just go ahead and hit on what? Submit. Yes, which is perfect because I think that is why I even got the error because for the tax residency certificate, they are not even, I'm not sure, but it seems they are not even requesting for an expiry date. It's when I chose other document the other time that, because I actually submitted my, what do you call, my employee residence permit in place of the tax residency certificate because that time I had not yet gotten my tax residency certificate. But unfortunately for me, they were not interested in the employee residence permit, and then I later had to still even submit a tax residency certificate. So I just hope that they don't ask for any expiry date regards to the tax residency certificate. I'll just go ahead and click on what submit. Perfect. I just received an email confirmation that the submission has been done and they are not asking me for any other thing. So since they are not asking me for any other thing, I think I'm good for the tax residency certificate. And I hope that Ireland never asks me for another tax residency certificate.